Okay, live back on Twitch TV. Thanks for joining me, my YouTube viewers. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for supporting me. And got a 3-hour stream planned tonight. Maybe 9:30 we'll be calling it. Coming to you live out here from the Sarnak Fort of Lake of Ill Omen. This is the MMocracy, sitting at 40% to level 32. And grossly overweight, actually. Now that I look at it, I realized last night I should have definitely gone and vendored before I went to bed. But if I remember right, it was quite late when I called it last night, so and then I haven't had a chance to play all day because I was doing adult things, but also at some point during the day, some of you caught it, we joined the Monsters and Memories playtest. And wow, so one of the first things I'll say about that is I had a moment about 10 minutes ago where I was thinking about Monsters and Memories. And that doesn't normally happen. I don't, wait, there's somebody out here? Well, hopefully we can share the, Sarnak fort. I'm really just gonna leave my pet here and try to just go vendor, and I wonder if I should almost, like, bind here. I think we could safely bind, like, right here. And then that way we can just warp back. But yeah, I felt myself thinking about it and going, man, I wish, right now, I really wish I could get back on Monsters and Memories. And that's kind of a rare thing for me. Ordinarily, newer MMOs, anything new doesn't necessarily capture me. Just looking to see if any of these guys have daggers before I do what I'm about to do. Hopefully this doesn't bite me in the ass. I think everything that paths by paths down over there, so it should be fine. Let's see. I can't invis. And then obviously, yeah, look at this. We got this. So awesome. Hidden bracer. Bracer of the hidden. But yeah, as far as M&M, naturally I played a Necromancer, and it plays pretty much just like you would expect. It plays like EQ. What else? So the amount of content that's available in it, I found was pretty impressive for a alpha game. Now I will say, um, kind of on the flip side of that, they've pretty much taken a lot of the ideas and the core foundations from EQ. So they had like a huge advantage in that they're not building a game from the ground up. I mean, this is essentially EverQuest 3 is kind of what I was seeing, but without the name. But yeah, everything is all there, you know, even down to like the experience bar and yellows and blues. They certainly are not reinventing the wheel, but they are, I think, kind of adding to it. And one of the things that I think stood out to me the most was the trade skills. There is significant architecture there for trade skills to be a lot more present and a lot more complex and have a lot more depth than an EQ. Welcome back, Scalus Raven. Do I ever consider labradoodles as a pet? Yeah, they're like they're really cute. Very energetic though. A friend of mine had one, and he was super energetic. A lot of energy, lot of like um needing time outside, things like that. Take him out, run him around, throw a frisbee, whatever. I wouldn't consider one if I didn't have a good yard and a lot of free time to spend with him. I'll say that. Yeah, last night's stream was good. The Monsters and Memories playtest stream was good. I was super stoked that I was able to get home in time to actually do it. I saw that the playtest was only going to run for a few hours, and I got really concerned because I was already behind getting home and ended up kind of rushing out of the grocery store, getting in and just in time to do a little bit. Good evening, man. I can't stop as it's 1 a.m., but how's things? Yeah, I missed you on the kind of normally do like a Saturday morning. I don't think I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, but I'm doing good. It's good to see you. You can always check out my YouTube too if you want something to listen, put on in the background. Ah, Skiff played a bit on Monsters and Memories. Yeah, everybody's kind of getting drawn to this. Looks okay. Yeah, I think they have a good foundation to really build on top of. I think once they work through, the lag was probably the worst. Yeah, proper playtest next month. Your Monsters and Memories stream has me concerned. I'm curious. What's the major concern? I'd be curious to hear from you. Because personally, I didn't see anything that was like this is super concerning. This game is gonna flop. Yeah, I like that it's niche. You can definitely tell it's an indie game. Oh, look at this. Do we have people out here grouping at the windmill? That's what a rare occurrence there. Okay. That Goblin Skull Crusher only sells for 1 plat. Let's see how much does a ceremonial sword. Really? 1 plat? How is that 1 plat? Getting ripped off. They're getting such praise from just a playtest that developers could potentially get content with half filling the world because they are getting praise for it. Oh, I don't think they're. I would hope they don't go. Oh, it's good enough now. Let's release it. I don't feel like that's a. I don't feel like that's a realistic outcome. I would hope. I mean, shoot, there's so much more that they still need to do. I think it's just the reason why they're getting praise is because everybody is sick of games that just steal your money and then disappear. This Flawless Aquamarine is 11 plat. Is it used for anything? It's used for blacksmithing a enchanted seafarer's harpoon. To Saren's grimoire. Yeah, I think they have a really good idea of what they want to do, and it's obvious what they want to do. They want to make a true successor to EQ, and I don't think they're gonna stop just because they got some kudos on their playtest. I think they're gonna try to make a game that is worthy of the kind of the title. That's just my opinion. Let's get all these spells or these words rearranged. I got so many words. So we're just gonna give the Sarnak ceremonial sword over to our pet here. We can give him a sword and a shield. Yeah, have a good night, Skiff. Thanks for stopping by. It's always good to see you. Let's see. Let me make sure there's not anything I need to do here before we head back. Part of me is considering spending the plat to. I could buy these flame agates and then just sell them back. It'll cost about 1 plat per, but it would get rid of all this gold. And when they flop on their ideals, you can complain. I guess, I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm not overly worried about it. I think it was pretty good. I think they're gonna, I think they're gonna take what they got here and build on it. But we shall see. Either way, the good news is they're not taking money from anybody. So like, unlike Pantheon and so many others, they're not really trying to crowdfund a bunch of money and then run. Let's see. So we just eliminated about 6 pounds in platinum, so that's good. I didn't look at the interface. Did you happen to look at the interface, Skyless, and see was there a weight? I'm pretty sure there's gonna be weight in that game. Now we can gate back. Just skeptical after Pantheon and having a good plan and foundation. There is weight. I did make a comment. Okay. I was like inundated with everything going on in there. I'm gonna take that video tomorrow and I'm gonna edit it down and then have to do some like first impression type stuff. That'll be the plan for tomorrow. Let's give Loban here. I think we need to give him the shield first. And we can give him the Cloud Strife Buster Sword, as Kevin called it. Yeah, he looks pretty cool. And I'm not sure what that other person is doing here, but we need to buff him, actually. I think they're just chilling. Not sure why they're here. You can believe in the game, but I'm just going to be skeptical. Oh, it's always good to be skeptical. I mean, the reality is it's nothing. If Monsters and Memories was to fail, it's not like I personally lose anything. I didn't invest in their projects, so they ideally create something that's worthy of investing time into. But they shall see. We shall see. Only time will tell. Oh, the range on the Bracer of the Hidden. I can't use it for a GCD reset when it's there that far away. That's a shame. It's better than nothing. I can use it when they're up close. Oh no, my end parse isn't up. We need to get end parse up. There we go. Whoops. There we go. And who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and get the Sarnak ceremonial dagger tonight. That'd be nice. Yeah, you can't the range on that is not the best. I'll have to do some like target swapping. We might need to come up with a macro for that. Let's see, how would you program a macro? Target self, hot button 1. I don't want to do assist pet. Let's see. Let's do it like this. Put this here. We'll do hot button 0. I'm getting a lot of... As you were switching laundry, you thought of a... I mean, I understand your point. You're saying, like, it. You're just skeptical on whether or not it's gonna be a, like, a worthy successor, I guess, or a good game. Or that's the way I see it. I don't think we need that, actually. Uh... Oh, okay, that macro is also not working. We're gonna have to come up with a way to get this to... So, what's going on? Pet's doing, like, no damage. Okay. Are we disconnecting? That was a huge, like, lag spike. That was weird. I think it will be a good game, but I'm concerned of the human aspect of development. Like, life gets in the way and some developers have to drop off. Yeah, that's especially if with that's a valid concern with it being like a part-time type project. Yeah, if they're essentially working on it on their own time, so I'm looking over at the macro commands to see if I can find a command. This is an interesting one. Dynamic lighting is force enabled and cannot be changed. That's awesome. This is actually, we're like really, really being efficient here. Is that somebody's pet is fighting that dragoon? I was gonna grab that dragoon. There's an adherent. You know what? This guy right here is probably about to pop. So unless that adherent has a dagger on him, which I can't see. What's this guy doing? We have like a red con dude out here. Oh, he's buffing me. That's cool. Thanks, bro. Trying to see if there's a command to like. There was a slash Facebook command in EQ. That's interesting. So slash hot button just creates a hot button. So that we don't need. I need a slash command that uses a hot button. It looks like there's a slash use item. So this would this be my left wrist or my right wrist? It just is wrist. So we can try that next. So it would be slash use item, and we'll just do right wrist. Or we'll use left. We'll try left wrist first. That's 9. And that targets myself and then uses that. It says it's not a valid command. There may be no way to hot button this. If we were talking the game itself, I believe it will be a proud successor. I think the systems work well with what they have working now. And they work out some things that could overrule Everquest someday. I just think they need to get more serious about development instead of being like a fan project. I think the good part is that even though it is a fan project, it almost looks like they've done more with it in a short amount of time than obviously Pantheon. So it looks like I'm just gonna have to like get really quick at using the hotkeys. Cause there I just manually did the macro. And I need we'll still continue to stab away for now. But like I said, they took a lot of inspiration from EQ. So they're that was weird. Oh, that's why my spell I have clarity. Ha. Nice. Let's go. Let's go wreck face. We've actually run out of spawns down here. I was like, why is my lich spell not working? It's because it doesn't stack with clarity. They should just take the just take the website down and call it, yeah. I gotta be really careful with tab targeting here. We gotta watch out and make sure there's no Sarnaks coming down the road. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Don't reinvent the wheel. And that's clearly the what they're going for. And who knows, maybe it'll kind of, if it's even moderately successful, they're gonna maybe prove something about the market. Because there's other projects out there. You mentioned that Evercraft. I haven't looked into that yet. There's oh geez, this person's out here killing stuff now. I was kind of hoping they would just stay AFK. Whoa. Yeah, kill that guy, not the other one. Yeah, there's that Evercraft deal. There's what was the other one that we were just talking about? Oh, EverQuest 3. What are they like? They're killing multiple of these guys. That's great. Don't bother with Evercraft. I think the developer pulled the project is almost identical to Monsters and Memories with Minecraft graphics. Wait, what are you doing, Laban? Yeah, I was kind of hoping that person would just stay like AFK and not kill half the Sarnak fort, but wishful thinking, I suppose. We'll just nuke this guy down. Hopefully everybody's having a good Saturday. I had a good Saturday. We went to a couple thrift stores this morning. I found some interesting finds. I'm actually thinking about making a video about that as kind of a side project. Let's see, can we give Loban this helmet? I don't know if it works or not. We gave it to him last night. That's nice of them. They're buffing me. I'm kind of curious what that looks like now. Evercraft. Evercraft online. Oh, wow. Yeah, it looks like EQ. It's like an EQ UI sitting over Minecraft. That's kind of neat. I don't think it doesn't appeal to me nearly as much as like Monsters and Memories or like an EQ3. Oh, I have POTG. Who gave me PO? How did I get POTG? Monsters and Memories ever reaches full release and works out kinks, I do believe retail EverQuest would be a thing of the past. Probably they may still have, just a small enough or just a large enough user base to do like a TLP every year, but it's probably not going to be nearly on the scale that it is now. And it's already not really on a super a super big scale as it is, right? I think, and because if you look at how the TLPs work, a lot of people do the TLP when it first comes out, and then they pretty much quit by like the third or fourth expansion, or they'll stay through POP and then they're done. Like the TLPs, by the time they hit the higher expansions, are down to like one or two raid guilds. Most people come for like they come for the classic experience and they kind of call it from there. Let's see. We don't really want to pull these because I think they pull together. I couldn't see him. Do believe in the game itself? Yeah, me too. It was like surprisingly I don't want to say complete. So here's what I was expecting. I was expecting like one or two buildings, you know, some mobs. Um, I wasn't expecting nearly as many classes as we saw. I mean, I think every class was in the playtest. It allowed you to click on them. Obviously, I didn't like make a character of every class, but they were all like able to be created from what I saw. Nothing said I couldn't make a class. There were some races that were still grayed out, but there wasn't any classes that were still grayed out. So, I mean, we saw like a really good fair amount of content has been put into the game. As far as just the actual basic systems that are in place for to build on for later. Yeah, that's a valid concern as far as like, you know, it's a small team making a game and they're all doing it in their own time while they work on their own careers. So it's really easy for life to get in the way. Let's see, let's grab this guy. Uh-oh. We don't want to grab him just yet. We want to grab this adherent. We want him to come all the way up here. We don't want him to stop there and cast. Yep. There we go. Get back, low barn, until... There we go. Let's see, does Loban have aggro? No, he does not. Nice. EOTG is just gives you so much mana. Goodness. That is such an overpowered buff. That's two of those energy drinks down today. What's wrong with me? And I've already pulled like almost 10% of the level. Oh no, I haven't. I've only gotten about a blue. Let's see, can we get another bracer of the hidden? We don't want to pull him right there. We want to pull him from right here. I'm wondering when are they shooting for release? I'm sure it's still quite a ways off. I can't imagine they're anywhere close to actually considering releasing that game. And it's kind of an interesting time because basically I think what's going on is everybody was thinking Pantheon was going to be the big thing, and then Pantheon is obviously we have talked about that ad nauseum, and so you're seeing other groups of people getting together and going, okay, well if they didn't do it, let's do it. And then at the same time, we have now Daybreak going, hey, Everquest 3, and obviously we don't have any details really this thus far on Everquest 3 and what they plan to do with that. But why it's interesting is now you've got kind of this void, right? And the free market system at work, people go and try to fill in that void. I don't think the Monsters and Memories team is trying to really capture a huge amount of the market with their project. Theirs is more of a love letter. Cannot see my target. That GCD reset is so nice. That is so nice to have. Whoever finishes their love letter first will capture the market. I could see the potential for something like, um, yeah, I guess, no, you're right. Like, it depends on the quality of the projects. Like, if Monsters and Memories really nails it, then maybe EQ3 could have a hard time. Like, even though it has the EverQuest name, if they like, because the X factor here is Daybreak. Daybreak, if you've been to the cash shop on EQ, like they aggressively monetize on EQ. And you know, this people that enjoy this type of gameplay do not respond well to that type of monetization. All the love letters are the same quality. So if even if Daybreak makes EQ3, yes, it has the EQ name on it, but if it's like, pay to win or has all the telltale signs of a bad MMO essentially, people may just be like, you know what? Like we're not, even though it's EverQuest 3, we're not sticking with it. Especially in this economy, like depending on how good the economy is, people are not going to want to pay a game that or play a game that has so much at this time you should add they all work about the same. What all works about the same? Flame agate and words of radiance. Man, this POTG is so sweet. The new games in development trying to capture the old school feels. Yeah, they're kind of there's a lot of similar theme going on here. Here's what I want. This is gonna sound crazy. I just want WildStar back. This stream would become a WildStar stream overnight if WildStar came back. And I know so many people thought that game was just such trash, but I don't know why. I think WildStar nailed action combat better than any action combat MMO. It did not nail PvP, but that's okay because I'm not really a PvPer. But it was one of my favorite MMOs, and it was like here and gone. You know, I think it only lasted like 4 years or something like that. It died pretty quick. Yeah, I would love to have WildStar back. Wouldn't mind Everquest clone as long as they worked out people's biggest gripes about EQ. Yeah, if I was king for a day, there's like a handful of things I would change about EQ. And other than that, you know, it's pretty solid. And that's kind of what it seems like Monsters and Memories is doing. They're basically taking that foundation, they're taking a new look at it and working out some of the kinks. EQ is obviously it's the client is so old. I need you. Sarnak recruit. Come here. The client is so old, it's really hard for any sort of like new development to happen on it. It's kind of interesting to see how EQ essentially plays in the Unity client. Goodness, with Clarity and POTG, I've got more mana than I know what to do with. Systems could all work the same, slap on some newer graphics, remove money transactions. Exactly. Yep, no, I'm right there with you. Like, that's literally all that needs to be done, and then it's like, nope, and it's good. Give us a new world to explore too. You know, there's that. Like, give us some new themes, new lore. That's probably I think that's what will kind of make or break Monsters and Memories for me is if it has a good like solid foundation of world building. Because as I've gotten older, I've really come to value that. I said it on stream earlier. It's like what's the point in having a great world or a great combat and great class design and great systems if you don't have a good world with which to go out and play out that fantasy. And I use Final Fantasy 11 as kind of the example for that because that game I think had really good party combat, really good class design. It was a lot of fun to play from a like gameplay perspective, but the world was just like so boring. It wasn't fun to explore. It was almost empty. Let's see. Do I need to start putting intensified death back on low band now? I do. So the haste spell is worn off. Prefer more hidden lore built in the game, like that rat tooth. There could be a bigger rat tooth, and who knows, go explore. Yeah, I like that. You mentioned that because that's the kind of design that I like. I really like games like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, Bloodborne because it's not just throwing cutscenes at you left and right and telling the story that way. It's more like a passive storytelling where yeah, you go read item descriptions and you learn about the lore through uh, observation versus direct interaction. And that fits the old school theme of the game as well. Oh, we fizzled. You hate Elden Ring? Dang. Dark Souls 2 and 3 used to be a mega fanboy. I've never played 2 outside of like I made it to the very first like hub town and that was it. What's he gonna do? He's gonna try to blind me. I resisted. My pet's just beating the snot out of him. He's putting a bunch of debuffs on me, but it's not very effective. I just need to nuke him because he's healing himself. 2 was a lot of problems, but I really enjoyed it. The bosses were neat. I never even made it to a boss. What are you doing, Loban? He was like running off. Sure didn't make a lot of money here. What do you not like about Elden Ring? I think my biggest complaint is I don't like open world games. So like I get open world fatigue. So I haven't really made it too far into Elden Ring. The storytelling seems really good. The lore seems pretty solid. I just don't like how you have to travel such vast distances. I'm not sure why he's like he was like trying to go after somebody. Too open world and enemy design. Yeah, that's probably right there is my biggest complaint about it as well. Let's get a little bit more mana. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of open world games either. The thing I do like about it is the customization is on point. The world building itself is on point. I just don't like I don't like how you can just like ride around endlessly and there's just so much open space. Oh no, my clarity dropped. No good thing can last forever. We had a really poppin' stream in here last night. Like Witcher 3, I love the enemies, but the enemies are all different. There are enough variety. I need to give Witcher 3 more of a try. I've gone a little bit further in that than Dark Souls 2, but not much further. And there was no one thing I didn't like about the game. In fact, I thought the world building was obviously really good in that as well. I just never got captivated by it to the point where I was like hooked. For some reason, the gameplay just didn't quite hook me. Witcher Trilogy is my all-time favorite game series. Nice, I did not know that. Got some ivory. That's some good money. I would say as far as multiple game series, for me, it's probably tied between a Dark Souls series and including Bloodborne. So from like the FromSoft, From Souls, whatever. And Final Fantasy will always have a special place in my heart. Even though the newer ones, I can't find myself getting uh, caught up in for some reason. I kind of stopped at 12. I played 13 a little bit, and it just didn't quite like get me. Stories were fantastic after getting through the prologues. Those are the worst part of the game. Yeah, games with slow starts are not my favorite either. I think it's just my old schoolness. I'd much rather have a game just drop me in and not try to explain too much. Dark Souls does it pretty well. You just kind of come in, you get a few prompts, and then it's like, okay, now go. Um, Mass Effect, I like Mass Effect. I wish I could finish Mass Effect. I've tried so many times. And for whatever reason, that's another one. Dragon Age, I think I came close to finishing Dragon Age. I don't know for sure because I didn't look at a walkthrough or anything. Oh no. Oh no, don't go that way. Oh, he's about to shoot. Okay, we need to back our pet off. We have that guy, he went the other way. We're just gonna back our pet off again. Okay. I think we're good. As long as my pet's not trying to do anything crazy. I don't list Final Fantasy as a game series because they all really share. Yeah, it spans so much at this point that it is kind of not necessarily a cohesive series. Yeah, they're all kind of standalone. They do some sequels to one or the other, but and then yeah, some have action combat, some have turn-based combat, some have active time battle combat, some are uh well, they all tell a story, but all their stories are not interconnected. Yeah. I mean, shoot, the first Final Fantasy came out in 1986, and that's pretty crazy. I don't see anything fighting my pet, so I think we're clear. Pet's just sitting over here chilling. Can you come over here, Pet? There we go. The Witcher's an interesting one because it's actually based on a book series, and I know you know that already, but I thought that was kind of neat. Oh, 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 oh. We almost got two. How many times is that gonna fizzle? Star Ocean is a good. Yeah, I had Star Ocean on the PlayStation way back when. And I've actually played the Super Nintendo one is pretty neat. The story of that is pretty cool because I think it was developers of the Tales series initially after Tales of Fantasia, which was like a mammoth Super Nintendo game. It was like probably the most technologically advanced Super Nintendo game. Moved over to work on Star Ocean afterwards. Some of them. The books are actually not great. That's a miracle. That's kind of neat. That's kind of funny. That author got like hooked up. Uh-oh. I thought we were gonna get two. We got kind of lucky there. I don't know, I don't know what this person's, maybe they're just out here trying to get experience. They're buffing me, so that's cool. We seem to be working a well around each other, so that's also cool. First few books are actually just short stories written for a magazine. That's probably a good way to kind of get your foot in the door. Was just leveling, think I'm gonna go. They're saying they're gonna go somewhere else. Yeah, I feel like a druid can do really well charm soloing, especially with the stuff that they have. Got a decent amount of experience so far. I got a homework to do tomorrow. I really should be doing homework right now. I could finish my presentation. I made a slideshow. I just got to record a video, but I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna do it upright, make it look good. I don't think that'll take very long. That's gonna take like 30 minutes. And I've only got like 2 weeks left of class, and then I am graduated. Perfect timing too. Next year is gonna be a super busy year for me. First few books are all over the place, so world building is not the author's strong suit. I always said if I was going to write a fantasy novel, uh, I would build the world before I put a story in the world. So I would put more time into making the world itself, kind of like an MMO, right? Like make all the, and I would do kind of a cosmological approach. So I would start with like how was the universe created? What forces were at work from the very beginning? Versus starting like zoomed way in narrowly on these characters and their stories and all that, and then trying to come up with like where are they going to go or what are they going to do. I would build this entire world first, and then I would take characters and I would put them in the world, and I would ask what kind of characters would inhabit this world, what kind of stories would they have. Similar to like what you see with like Dwarf Fortress, like if you've ever played Dwarf Fortress, they like they like have a procedural world generation where there's like wars and different things that have happened before your guys even show up. And then once the world is made, then I can put a story in it. But until you have a world, I feel like you'd be kind of making it up as you go. Let's give low band some health. I don't think I'll ever have time to do that, but that's how I would approach that task if I had that. That's how you're writing your post-apocalyptic fantasy story. That's a smart way to do it. Now you don't seem like you're making it up as you go along, where you're like, okay, I have these characters, now they're gonna go. Where should they go? I guess I'll have to make up a new location. I never would want to have to come to a point where I'm making up a location before the characters go there. I would want to be like, wow, look at this whole world, and then ask myself, what would a good story in this setting be? I really wish I had more time. I would actually really like to do that. I'm gonna go hard on this Revenant. I think there's some items that drop out here for the Necromancer skull cap. I need to look into that real quick. Skull cap. Why? There we go. Sarnak Revenants dropped the item for the skull cap. So we might as well just try to knock that out. Let's see. Nothing's coming. Ooh, we're off to a bad start. He resisted. If I have to, I will fear him. He's off to a bad start too. Oh, we can't really fear him because this recruit just popped. We're gonna let Loban just like take some hits here. And then we're gonna start drain tanking him here as soon as Loban gets a little bit lower. Just a little bit more. He's down to 40%. We could probably finish him actually. We'll tank for Loban here. Yeah, we got him. Shoot, I'm finishing at 70 mana. Loban's looking a little rough. I'm wondering if Loban is my pet taking damage? Yeah, he is. He's dotted. We need to get some healing on him like ASAP. Nervous. We're gonna lose our pet with the awesome sword. Here we go. Shadow Compact coming in. Loban, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna make it, buddy. There's the stem of the candlestick. We got lucky there. That's freaking awesome, actually. I think the tattered note, I don't think we need that. Like, I have it all planned, then I get there and typing the details out and go, I think the building needs this material, so the overall world is built. The tiny details are not there yet. Yeah, and it's really like, it's totally up to you. Like, how far do you want to go on it, you know? Like, do you want to go down to the individual, like, you know, type of wood or the type of metal that they use? Okay, how did they learn how to even forge that metal? Like, you could go so deep in the world building. And then the reality is, if you were to do that, you could fill a story out really well because you could tell that story as part of the actual main, like, character arc. Where you kind of segue into like this type of metal was, you know, developed in this year because this society needed to improvise due to resource scarcity, like, and then now you don't actually have to write 400 pages worth of like individual story about these characters. You could write 400 pages with only half of it being world building and half of it being the character story. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to hack that. As long as you do it right in a way that doesn't like lose your audience's interest. My world building is very in depth because it feels more alive and easier to picture. So we got the stem of the candlestick, and now we just need to kill that character out in, I think it's Furiona V, the swashbuckler, yeah. And that's only if we can turn in the fourth rank one and get that one, because we're kind of stuck. We don't have the ability to levitate. We don't really need the gear all that much though. have maps drawn in a notebook, trying to make it easier to visualize. When I was a kid, I used to love drawing maps for like fantasy worlds. That map at the in the front of Lord of the Rings was like so inspiring to me. Who's over here and why are they so glowy? I was hoping he would have a dagger. This dagger is quite rare. There's no telling if we'll actually get this before we outlevel the area. That is such a meaty life tap. Let's see. Need to buff low ban again. I'm debating on, do I hang on to this? This weapon has stun. I could use this for my charm soloing. Those are always nice to have whenever you have a charmed pet. Know where all the locations are and the building aesthetic are, but if you were to read, you won't have any maps, so it's tough to write the setting where you could see the map in your head. Yeah, I feel like I would have, if I was doing the same thing, I would have like a lot of concept type stuff built out. As far as like maps and different locations and I always just think back to Dwarf Fortress. Whenever you make a new world on Dwarf Fortress, it goes through like an entire procedurally generated history of that world before your guys even show up, and I just think that's so cool. It's built out, but you can't put it all in a book without spoiling the ending. Can't tell. Does he have a dagger? I don't think so. I don't know how that, how did that lower level druid, they were lower than me, have protection of the glade? That's really weird. I thought that was like a level 60 spell that you couldn't, there's no clickable item with it that I know of. The good thing is now that I'm higher level, I don't have to not kill like adherents. Just remember once the adherents spawned in these spots, I was like bricked. I couldn't kill them. They were just too scary. Yeah, I don't know what kind of wizardry they were pulling to be able to buff me with that, but I'll take it. Oh shoot. Oh, he actually got a decent spell off on me. It's alright, I've got hard-hitting spells too, Sarnak Adherent. The one thing that's neat about EQ is these enemies have the exact same spells you do, right? Like, he's around the same level as me, his spell hits for 140, my spell hits for 140. It's almost like a duel. Versus in a lot of MMOs, you know, the enemies are kind of nerfed. They don't have the exact same spells and abilities that the players do. Oh, I got blinded. It's a GM in disguise. That's kind of what I was like thinking. This here is interesting. So the first time this happened to me when I was playing this game as a kid, I thought my monitor died because I got blinded and I was like, what is going on? Hey, I'm Kevin. Welcome back to the stream. We're out here in the Sarnak fort plugging away at level 31. Still working on that solo self-found challenge. Want that dagger for primary or ranged? So right now I would put it in the ranged because I have what a skipping stone, like that's, you know, whatever. And then I'll probably try to quest the dagger in down near if I can. It's a tough quest from what I understand. Yeah, down near is coming. I keep saying that. I'm like, dungeons are coming, guys. Dungeons are coming. I'm like George R. Martin. The dragons are coming. Oh, are we gonna get two? Oh, looks like we got lucky. I have five friends in real life named Kevin. When do you guys all hang out? Do you have a Kevin convention? Hey Kevin. Hey Kevin. What's up, Kevin? Not much, Kevin. That's pretty funny. Four of you have hung out together at the same time. That's awesome. You had a little Kevin convention, little Kevin hangout night. As you can see, Kevin, I gave my pet the Cloud Strife Buster sword that you called it. Because it only vendors for one plat. I was thinking I was gonna get this huge like payday off of it, and the vendor was like, "Yeah, one plat, man." I was like, "What? Look at this sword, it's awesome." He was like, "One plat, bro." Might as well let the pet look badass. Yeah, I knew I was gonna be out here grinding for a while, so I was like, "This, it just works." And then this one here, the Goblin Skull Crusher, I'm gonna save that for when I charm, because I can give that to a charm pet. You just got to be careful not to let him die to an enemy, because you'll lose it. Yep, no null-hide lariats, so that's the best I got. It's got stun on it though. It's pretty much a null-hide lariat. It's a little bit, I think it's slower. I also got this candlestick for the next or one of the necro rank spell like skull caps. Oh yeah, you're right. Speed doesn't matter for the pets. Pet itemization is so weird. Like you can give it a shield and a two-hander and it attacks as if it's dual wielding. I like that my pet's actually able to tank too. I'm probably not getting jack for experience because I'm pretty much just medding through the entire fight, but it's keeping the pulls more consistent than if I was nuking. I just got really hungry for like something very fried and gross. Oh no, my protection of the glades is gone. Maybe that druid didn't give me protection of the glades. It was still, I got like a clean, probably 15% of this level with some good buffs from some other people. Yeah, it is. It's super OP. There's probably a certain contingent of the solo self-found community that would tell me I need to click that off, but my whole thing is if I don't go ask for it and it happens that it just happens, I'm not going to click it off. I have a pudding downstairs in the kitchen. You drive all the way here and bring it to me so I can focus on Everquest. What kind of pudding is it? If you got two of them and it's a good pudding, maybe I'll drive out there and do it. But then I guess if I drive out there, how would I stream for Skyless Raven? That'd be kind of dangerous. Unless I just stream me driving. Alright guys, what's up? I'm here in my Land Rover, driving to meet Skyless Raven and get a pudding. Let's go. We could get really hosed if a Sarnak comes running down this road right now. You can almost certainly play EQ on a car. Yeah, you could probably play it on your Tesla. I'm sure the Tesla could handle it if it has the right. I don't know what kind of OS it runs or what kind of architecture it's running on. Would be the only thing. Had a buddy in college who had a PlayStation in his truck. Do you remember those like they had like a PlayStation, a portable PS1 that came in like a case. And I had a friend who had it. I don't know how the hell they afforded it. His mom worked at Burger King, but they had it. And I was always so jealous. I guess not to like throw shade, but they were kind of the family that would spend their money on like outward things, but like lived in a trailer. Not that I'm dogging on anybody that lives in a trailer. I lived in one too, but like um just kind of the focus of their spending seemed to be more on like the nice car, the nice like other stuff, and not necessarily like uh spending it on living in something maybe more habitable. I remember them, but I never actually saw one. Trailers are actually not bad though. Theirs was like really old. It was probably paid off though, so like who am I to judge, right? Like they probably weren't paying rent. So maybe that was it. And then it's like, hey, it's already paid off. Why not just freaking stay in it versus like go live somewhere else? Oh, we're just talking about living in trailers and having PlayStations. Yeah, they only really like sleep in it and they're never home anyway, right? I got a YouTube viewer here, whispering me. This is the guy who is like, "Hey, I watch you on YouTube." Pretty cool. I do get some views on my YouTubes. It's not anything crazy, but you know, people pop in and they check it out. They don't always stay, but that's all right. Did you see my vid? I got it. Oh, he said, "You lucky SOB." He's watching it now. Yeah, if you watch the live streams, the YouTube videos are just the live streams. I don't even take the time to like cut down and edit them because I'm gonna do recap videos like the saga of Mr. Best Friend. I'll probably make like 2 or 3. The origin story, yeah, that I'm really proud of that. I had a lot of fun making that. That's my greatest work so far. Low band, you need a buff. There is a severe lack of current content in EQ on YouTube. Interesting. Even with Quorum coming out, there's like nobody putting videos out. I think you were the one that talked about Wrecked You. Wrecked You put out a lot of videos for a while. There was another guy who had the Iksar Monk. And my bags are already like so full. Harry Love Whistle. We got some words here. What do we got? Words of possession. Those are for the 29 pet that we've already researched. There are a few that make Quorum videos. The only guy I know that makes P1999 is a dude called Ogre Guy. I think I saw one of his videos. But it works. It's a lot like the videos I'm making, where they're like extremely long play oriented, where it's not like cut down and edited to like just the high points. My videos that are going on YouTube are just like dumps of my stream. Uh, and I'm not gonna really sit down to like I'm not gonna sit down to edit like 5 hours of a stream down to 2 hours of a stream just for like, because really the reason why they're on YouTube is for historic purposes. They're not necessarily there to be like extremely engaging, entertaining content. Although there are a small handful of people that do watch it, which is kind of cool. He just kind of complains about his job and plays at a below average level. Is he like a Boogie? Remember that guy Boogie? He clicks everything. Not overly angry. Is he just more like dejected and like, yeah, it sucks? He's like Eeyore. I don't know. I'll stop asking questions. I'll just look at it myself. But it doesn't sound like something I really would be interested in watching. I really like the Wrecked You guy. He was cool. There was that dude that did the monkey magic. He had the monk, Iksar monk that he played, and it had the intro music from some old kung fu show called Monkey Magic. But then I think he got copyright hit and he had to remove that. I don't think P1999 has probably ever had like a really serious demand for YouTube content. Level Up Larry does good YouTube content. Ion Blaze does some interesting P99 videos, or used to. Huh. It's funny, Skyless knows so much about these P99 and he never really played it. Did you play when you got to level 11 or 9 or whatever, Skyless? Did you go on retail or did you play it on P99? Let's see. There's a Dragoon. Those don't drop the dagger. Yeah, Rectu is not his YouTube videos are not good from like an entertainment per se standpoint. They're good from like a this is how you play an enchanter at a really high level and like kick some ass doing it. And his videos were the inspiration for me to make an enchanter and do the things that I did. And at some point I would like to get back to my enchanter and do some of that crazy stuff again. Just not a ton of consistent content for P99. It's a very small like niche market. You know, I have a friend that's been streaming for years and he was like, "You're gonna stream EverQuest?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Dude, you're gonna never like your channel's never gonna grow." And I was like, "Okay." I have seen that, Kevin. I have seen this the Chardock. Or wait, no. What am I thinking of? I saw him do one in Seb, like a level 56 frog or just like a high level frog in Seb. We just got some words of coercion. That's a new word. Whoops. Oops. I can't type. I can't click. Oh, these are magician words. Boo. Boo magician words. I'm gonna pull something, nuke the living crap out of it, and then I'm gonna go, I gotta go bio. My just, that energy drink just like attacked me. So the Sarnak adherent it is. We just want him to get all the way up here before he starts casting. That's all we really need. These curse spells make it so much safer to fight these things. I'm actually going to hang on to my mana rather than nuke for just a minute and let Loban here do his thing. He's actually putting out some really good damage. The experience here is not, admittedly, not the best. Really just hoping for that dagger. But the dagger is not going to be a showstopper. If I don't get it in another level or two, we're just gonna move on. Oh, he's healing himself, you dirty worm. Okay, there we go. Now he's running. Yeah, Loban is doing some work here. A scroll. We'll grab that just to see what it is, but I'm gonna hit a be right back screen and I will be right back. I'll mute the mic this time so I don't kill your guys' eardrums. Okay, back. We got a full mana bar. We need to buff our pet up though. This guy, one of my YouTube viewers, is telling me like crazy stories about how people would form raids at level 4 to kill the Queen Beetle and Kinos. And Lower Guck would have 100 people in it. That's how it is on TLPs. What was that? What just went running by? What is... Looks like he's going inside. I've seen that guy before. Do TLPs have any form of layering? Yeah, they do. They usually add layers. I don't know if they've done one without layering. I feel like it would not even work without layering. People wouldn't do it. They wouldn't play it. Um, the one time I did a TLP and actually like committed to it, we you pretty much go into Guck at level 4 or level 10, whatever, choose your level, and you can stay in Guck till max level. And it's actually like surprisingly safe because there's so many people in Guck farming that getting around Guck is not all that hard as long as you know where to go. But pretty much every spot is camped, so you can just like kind of run around Guck with impunity, and there's really no worry about, you know, getting trains of mobs or anything. It's kind of neat. The whole server just kind of crams into Guck and locks it down, and you can go all the way up to the max level. I got the Dark Elf mask on my cleric doing that, like the pre-nerf mask that anybody can use. I got a flowing black silk sash. Yeah, Skyless is a bit of an enigma. He hangs out here and he watches me play EQ in like a very non-standard way, in fact. And there's times where I've like we've stopped, you know, and like really explained what is going on, because he's just like, "Can you explain this?" Because like you've been talking about all these locations and I have no concept of where any they are, and I'm happy to do it because he's been watching like pretty much the entire time, as far back as Feel the Bone, like level 9, level 10, whenever it was I started streaming. We are out of inventory space. What should we do? Rabbit meat. We don't need rabbit meat. Can I combine these? Nope. Oh, we have that scroll. That dropped from, was it a Sarnak adherent? And I never quite figured out what that scroll was for. It just says it's just a temporary item. Where is that in my inventory? A scroll. You can't, oh, you can read it. Okay, this is interesting. This is what Magic Window is made for right here. Oh, Magic Window's not working. Okay. Zinth from Opal Slush and Dristelet shall come from Zinth. From Sarnak, Night Dust, Gorge Moss, and Sponge Mushroom shall come Opal Slush. From Furion or Drixie Dust, Stone Seer, Stone Layered Emerald Plume, and Slate Chant shall come Dristelet. So it's like an alchemy recipe, but I doubt it's like actually in the game because there's nothing on the wiki. Let's see. I don't know. I don't want to pull an adherent across that. That might not be wise. There's a dragoon. Oh, what am I doing? Oh my goodness. There we go. Yeah, EQ, I imagine as somebody who's never played the game, it would be pretty tough to start. And then I don't think your fears are unfounded, Skyless. There are certainly nice people that play, but there's also a lot of like pretty elitist people that get kind of like nasty if you don't know what you're doing because the game is so old. I would say those people are probably the exception though, not the norm, but you would run into them from time to time. Because they've lived unfortunately they've lived a sad life, and yeah, most people are usually really cool. And there's a lot of people on this community that give stuff away. Like they're like, "Oh, you're new, like you're new," and they'll be like, "Here, follow me to the bank," and they'll just load you up with like stuff they've been waiting to get rid of anyway. Mikey the Bold, here's what I never understood about Everquest. You have to go to certain places to get certain spells, but if no one told you or you didn't look it up, how would you know? Yeah, you really wouldn't. The game is really lacking in like direction, and there's not a lot of like, yeah, go here to get this. You may see a little bit here and there, but not a whole lot. So I'm gonna wait to pull. I want to pull this guy, but wondering, I think this recruit over here is gonna pop in just a second. Yep, he just popped. Look at that. My intuition was correct. We'll drain you, and then we're gonna give some life to Loban here, and then we're gonna actually life tap this recruit because we're down to 70 life. And we want to get our life back up. And I'm going to pull him back because I don't want anything to run by and aggro him. It's funny, this place was so like white knuckle scary when I first came here, and now it's actually a really chill spot. Does he have an item? I don't think so. I was really hoping to see a dagger on him. The first group at Orc Hill, I rocked up and said, "Yo, what do I do in group?" It's all because of Loban. Yeah, that having that higher level pet has been so huge in making this actually doable, because if you remember, you couldn't fear kite. You know, there's too much activity. Loban's actually able to take some hits. My level 20 pet would just melt. So that left me to tank, and then I would have to tank with and tank and nuke, and I didn't have the nice life drain that I have now. Now with that life drain, I can face tank, and I don't really take all that much damage. Is that a reference to Dark Souls there? It's all because of Loban? Because you know how in Dark Souls you can do it's all because of as one of the message prompts. Like people will put it's all because of sneak attack or whatever. It's all because of they use that and then you put fill in the noun. I wish I could say that was my intention. You should have just claimed it. No, it's all good. Yeah, Loban's a little monster and he's rocking that giant sword. He's got a shield and he may have a helm. I don't know. It's a no trade item, but I gave it to him anyway and it lets you give it to him. Yeah, he's a little boss. We gotta keep his health up though. He's still not like able to truly self-sufficiently tank without me healing him, but he does pretty good. One interesting dynamic in this game I like is you can actually give your pets, charmed pets items. We talked about it with like the Nullhide Lariats, and they'll actually use those weapons. You just have to kill them when you're wanting to get that weapon back. So there's a ring that gives minus magic resist, and you can give that ring to the pet, and it helps you recharm the pet. But if you lose that pet to an enemy, you lose that item. I think that kind of answers Skyless Raven's question. But summon pets, you cannot do that with. You can't get that item back. That item is gone forever once I lose that pet. But what's interesting is, remember monsters and memories, you could actually keep your pet through zones. What does that mean for the game? I don't know. Are you able to basically summon a pet, deck him out, and use him up to the next level? And the pet does equip armor even if it doesn't show. But what I'm wondering about the armor that I gave him is because it's no trade, does that make it so he actually does he equip it or not? It goes away. It goes off my cursor. But I don't know if it actually gives it to him or not. If it does, he's rocking a helmet as well. That would be a nice touch to see in Monsters and Memories is let you actually see the armor that's equipped on your pet. Our bag is full again. Time to start dumping food. I don't really need all this food. Oh, I'm sorry. My NParse has been up for a long time there, just kind of clouding up the screen. Whoops. That was not by design. I rather like that I turned the music off on the stream. I think this is working out a little bit better. Because now I can play whatever I want to play. You guys can play whatever you want to play. You can't play Shaman in groups without NParse. That is so true. Yeah, I can't even conceive what that would be like. Because you have so many buffs that you have to keep track of, and they don't have very long timers, some of them. Let's see, who's down there? There's an adherent and a dragoon down there. I don't really like to pull from up here because of the pathing mobs, but it looks like we're stuck. Yeah, when I made my top 5 um beginner classes, I actually said the shaman is a decent beginner class because of how sought after they are in group and the fact that they can um solo and group. I didn't list Necromancer. I listed the mage instead of the Necromancer. But I feel like that number, I think Shaman was number 4. I feel like that number 4 slot could have went either way. Between the Necro and the yeah, they don't, you're right, they don't solo very well at the beginning. I was thinking more on like ease of getting a group with the ability to solo if you need to, because you're gonna get a group faster on a shaman than you will on like a necro. Necros are not really sought after for groups. Now, if it was a top 5 solo classes, then definitely I would say Necro goes on that list as probably number 2 behind Enchanters. Enchanters are hard. It wouldn't, so the list wouldn't be if it was top 5 solo classes, not um top 5 easiest solo classes. Yeah, Necro is a pretty great beginner class. Maybe I should have put Necro instead of Shaman. I was going for kind of some diversity though. Because for a beginner, I feel like if you want to solo as a pet class, you're going to go mage. Necro requires a little bit more finesse. That's interesting. I got Words of the Extinct. That's like a level 20 word. Because a mage can kind of get away with soloing in a spot where, as long as you have a safe spot to pull to, then the mage can solo in that spot. On the Necro, you have to have a safe spot to not only pull to, but also to Fear Kite. Druid, Mage, Necro, and Shaman need to be in the top 5. So I included Monk because of their easy to gear. Yeah, I was like, and I pointed it out in the video. I said this is the only melee on the list because they're easy to gear. They're not as expensive. You can use your fists if you really want to. Because there's no way I would put like Paladin or Shadow Knight on as a beginner class. But monks get feigned death, so you get some kind of cheat death type mechanics, and you have the cheaper to gear, so like a warrior is very expensive to gear. monks have access to all those, like, um, access to all those, like, down near goodies. You know, there's like so many good drops in Kunark for the monk, and they only sell for like 100 plat. Like, I could gear a monk up right now to be like not uber twinked, but decently twinked with the money that I have. They are expected to pull in groups. I feel like that's something that a beginner player can kind of ease into, though. For example, I learned to pull here, right here in this very spot. I made an Iksar monk and kind of soloed him up to a point, and then I was out here in Lake of Ill-Omen. I got invited to a Sarnak fort group, and I got in here, and they were like, "All right, go pull." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they were like, "You're the monk, you pull." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And this spot's not bad to pull in, and that's where I kind of learned. And then I got better at pulling in K-Sora. And then at one point, our K-Sora group, everybody died, and I had to pull all their bodies out. Yeah, we are running out of room, and the game is like throwing words at us. Words of sight. Let's see, what do we get rid of? We don't really need all this. We don't need 3 different types of water. I don't need this extra berry. Yeah, I don't think that's one that I really need, but I'm just hanging on to it for vendor questing. We need to get this dagger so we can get out of here. Toss bone chips? What blasphemy is this? I think I'll keep tossing food for a little bit longer. I can toss these bandages. I've never used them. I think that stack of bandages cost me a plat when I was a noob. What would be great is if the oh, we have a visitor here, legendary monk. What would be great is if we got the dagger so we could move on to something else. This dagger is actually pretty rare. I can't believe I got the bracer of the hidden before the dagger. That's, to me, is kind of crazy. The only reason why I'm hanging on to the berries is for brewing, but I mean, honestly, like at this point I've got so much plat, I think I could buy the stuff to brew. So that's really, the berries are going to go here soon too. We've made a lot of plat out here in this zone. And I'm not that committed to the dagger. Really the only reason why I'm still camping this is because it's giving experience. But I don't think I'm going to stay here that much longer. I think it's more important to keep efficiently leveling. But yeah, while it's giving experience, it's like, oh, this is strange. That was really weird. He was like running up on me and then he teleported over there. Not really sure what the deal is with that. I can't imagine the experience would be really all that much different anywhere else, though. +3 int is nice when you're struggling. Yeah, any int. I'll take any int that I can get. The good thing is the Necro is not really all that gear dependent. I don't even want to say really, it's not at all gear dependent. You could level a Necro to 60 with nothing. And yeah, plus HP is better than int, especially right now. I think later on int kind of gets to be a little bit better, but leveled my first Necro to 43 without buying any gear. Yeah, it's kind of just a bonus. It's not if this was like a different character I was doing solo self found on, then I would definitely be like, yeah, we need gear. We're gonna go farm specific items. One thing I am a little bit worried about is losing my body, especially now that I have that bracer. Had no choice, no other characters, yeah. Well, you rolled a decent starting class. But you've or no, you played that was your first character back in 2019, I think you said, or 2018. Only played 3 classes past 35. I think I'm in the same boat. Um, I played the monk to 35. I don't think I've gotten a mage past 30, maybe 32. And oh, we don't have the mana to pull that adherent just yet. Necro Shaman and Chanter. Yeah, my Chanter is the highest class that I've ever gotten. He's 48. He's here on green. I really should finish him. But then I started this as kind of a stream project, and it's just kind of stuck. The Chanter, people were really invested in that when I was streaming him, because we got to see like the progression from being just a lowbie Chanter to all the way up to, gearing. Sarnak Revealer. I kind of want to grab him, but he's running past this guy. He's going to drop a buff on his buddy over there. I think he has an item. Oh, he just ran into the fort. The Farsight Crystal, I think, is something we actually need from him. Oh, maybe not. No. Oop, don't nuke myself. I have not watched Young Sheldon. Truthfully, I don't watch really any TV. I watch a lot in my free time. When I have time to watch things, I usually watch shows about, or YouTube videos about physics, astrophysics, history. That's kind of my thing. He's nuking my pet. You knocked that off, Sarnak adherent. Loban's our guy, and you're not going to abuse him. Yeah, I watched a show or a video yesterday about the oldest stars in the universe. Sheldon from Big Bang Theory when he was a child, but when you're a child being condescending makes him yeah, I could see that. I've never watched that show, even the first show. The only TV shows I've watched were I've watched King of the Hill all the way through probably 4 or 5 times because that was like my second monitor screen, second screen video game show. And then I've watched Breaking Bad all the way through at least twice, probably 3 times. And I watched that while I was deployed. Watched it once when it was actually like current, and then watched it while I was deployed. They won't watch Young Sheldon because he's obnoxious. Yeah, if the entire premise puts you off, then I can understand that because that is the entire like theme of the show, right? Is this kid, this super smart kid, and especially with it being a kid, people don't really respond. Like Caillou, everybody hates on Caillou. I think we're about to get a spawn here. I have not felt the disappointment of Game of Thrones. I watched the first season with somebody that was really into it, and then stopped hanging out with that person, and then stopped watching Game of Thrones. Although I have a really funny Game of Thrones story I'll tell in just a second. Game of Thrones last season pretty much ruined the series. I've heard that. I've heard Game of Thrones ended on a really sour note. The first season was pretty good. Like of the season that I watched, it was really good. Haven't gone back and rewatched. They killed it for you. So, when I was deployed back in 2018, everybody was watching Game of Thrones. And when you're deployed, you spend a lot of time doing nothing, at least in the units that I've been in, because I've been in rescue units for much of my career. And really, is if you're part of a rescue unit, you don't actually really want to be doing anything because that means somebody got shot or somebody got hurt, right? So it's kind of like a paradox of like you want to do your job, you want to go save people, but you don't want to go save people because they got hurt. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic. But we're just sitting alert, waiting for a call. And I go in the talk and I'm watching Game of Thrones. And it was like a season 7 episode of Game of Thrones. And I've never watched any Game of Thrones. So I have no idea what's going on. And if you're not invested in the story, if you're not actually up on what's going on, the whole like suspension of disbelief is not there. And so essentially what I felt like I was watching was like a fantasy version of SNL where like every scene was completely removed from the other scenes and it was like full of fantasy tropes and it was almost comical because like I'm not invested in this story whatsoever. So all of the characters just seem like really like overplayed for like they're overacting their roles. And it was like very weird. It was like a mind screw. I won't drop the F bomb, but mind F where I was like I can understand where some people are like, "Oh, this is so awesome," but I'm watching it as if it's like a fantasy SNL and everything. It was almost like a parody of itself, if that makes sense. It was so cheesy like seeming. That's kind of the point I'm trying to get. Smallville was similar in its final season was but not that bad. Yeah, you're right. It was weird to see people they're like, "Oh, the dragons," cuz I think like the lady showed up with dragons or something. I don't know. And I was just like, "Oh yeah, dragons. Like we see those all the time in shows." And yeah, the friend that I had that was really into it, she was kind of the same way. She would like freak out about all the little details. Like whenever the one lady gets some dragon egg or something, she's like, "Oh, it's a dragon," and I was just kind of like, "Uh, remind me not to bring up Game of Thrones with you like ever." I like the I like the dynamic of having that like part of the world all the way up in the north where there's like zombies and there's like a group of people that have to defend the world. Basically, the rest of the civilized world is being defended by this one group of people who are designated, I don't know, through history, historic precedent, or whatever. Frostwalkers, not zombies. My bad. they're they're required to do that, and the rest of the world gets to live in like relative peace, even though you have these other people who are living in like perpetual war in this constant state of readiness, which I can definitely empathize with being military. We're constantly talking about how we got to be ready to go, ready to go. I did like that part of it. Still recommend people watch it just for the first 6 seasons and then just stop there. It's like Old Yeller, just turn it off after 2 hours if you don't want to be disappointed. Loban's taking some hits here. Those Frostwalkers people have not been seen in like 1,000 years in the show. You would just caveat it to them like, you can watch past the 6th season, but you might be disappointed. Yeah, I don't really think it's bad per se. It's just not quite it's just not really for me. But I don't watch a whole lot of shows really. HBO always less than desirable ending. You're right, they do have like a reputation because wasn't it The Sopranos? Everybody was mad about The Sopranos ending too. Oh, you know what? I have watched there's another show I have watched and it was an HBO show. You reminded me of it. And it was Generation Kill. I love Generation Kill. I highly recommend if you're interested in the military. I feel like that show. This guy has something. We need to. He's a legionnaire. I don't think he's got the dagger, but he's got something. If you're interested in the military and you want to get a pretty honest look at what it's like, Generation Kill is pretty good for that. He's got another Cloud Strife Buster Sword for sure. We're gonna be overweight when we. It's not really a Buster Sword. It's like serrated. We're gonna be overweight once we lift that hefty sword into our bag. It's kind of an ugly sword, to be honest. Sarnak Flesh Harvester. Let's find a spot for it. I may need to, I may need to go sell. This is interesting. It has an effect, Insidious Fever. So we'll pull that up on the wiki here. Insidious Fever. That is a disease spell. And it's 4.8 minutes at level 19 to 14 minutes at level 65. Decreases disease resist by 19. Sometimes the runes and half the pages don't sell, you're right. Yeah, we could probably ditch some of these as well. Like these ripped Tassarin's Grimoire. Those don't sell for very much. The runes sell for about a plat. Yeah, that's a good point, M. Kevin. I didn't think about that. That is a good aggro generator for especially a warrior who doesn't have a good actual. They don't have a short sword of Yakesha or anything fancy. They could use that. Yeah, the Shock of Disease, I think, is the name of the spell that Shadow Knights use. Get him off me, pet. Another show. Oh, I'm sorry, Skyless. The last show I actually sat down and watched from start to end and didn't feel like it ended like a train wreck was Raising Hope. But it was canceled for low views. And there was a CW show called Arrow that shot itself for an ending as well. Yeah, if you group on a Necro, you don't want to use Disease Dot. You're right. That disease spell does so much aggro. I wonder if they intended that for, like, Shadow Knights and that's why it's that way, or if it was just, like, it's like a chicken or the egg. Or did they buff the aggro for Shadow Knights? Like, were Shadow Knights complaining that they couldn't aggro and so they made disease more aggro, or was it just always that way? We're making good progress through the level. 60 some percent right now. I need a good video game soundtrack to listen to. If you guys have any recommendations, let me know. I feel so liberated now. I don't have to listen to stuff on stream that I ordinarily, not say wouldn't listen to, but get kind of tired of listening to. We're going to kill this rain noise, though. Anytime it rains, I turn the game audio off. Snare is pretty decent. Yeah, that's right. The snare spell does generate a good amount of aggro as well. As much as I harp on Final Fantasy XI for its world, the gameplay is good and the soundtrack is really good. I absolutely love the Final Fantasy XI soundtrack. And the world building in that game is actually good. Like, if you walk around Bastok or any of the starter cities and you just talk to people, there's a ton of story in that game. I turned the game audio off. Oh, you said you don't hear the game audio like when I'm casting? That's interesting. I guess I need to go back and look. Maybe my levels are not set properly. But I did just mute the game audio just now because of the rain sound, and I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get rid of that rain sound effect. Unfortunately, Everquest doesn't let you turn off the rain sound, even though you can turn off. You can click environment sounds and it turns some off, but for some reason the rain isn't considered an environment sound, which makes no sense to me. I feel like that is the quintessential environment sound, but that's just me. You technically can, but it might be against the TOS. So there's a text file you can edit in the Project 1999 game files that lets you turn off individual sounds. But for some reason, I cannot find the rain noise. I don't know what it's called. The game has been muted this whole time and I just hear his voice. We can try a little test here. Huh. Can you hear footsteps? And here comes like a really loud spell. Oh, it's definitely working. Oh, you know what? You have music on, probably, Skyless. And, you have music on, and I actually... Oh, you don't have music on. Interesting. Trying to find a good balance of game audio. Because it's extremely loud, even when I turn it down. I'm not really a big fan of it. Like there, that's like so loud. Even when I have it on like 10%, it's still really loud. Haven't been hearing that all stream. So that was interesting though. I turned the audio off and then back on and it killed the rain noise. So I'm going to count that as a win because I now just learned how to mute the rain noise and not have to live without game audio. And we are about 70% to level 32. And it doesn't feel like all that long ago that I had just hit level 28 and was thinking about, how much more I had left to do. I don't know, I should probably look into that Duxa UI. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Let me see what that looks like. Doesn't look that... It's got an installer. Oh yeah, I've seen this on other people's streams. Yeah, I've seen that before. I've just never taken the time to install it. I feel like for what I've been doing, I haven't really needed. Uh, oh yeah, if it has experience percent, that is kind of nice. It may have some, yeah, quality life stuff that I'm not thinking about that I don't realize I want, and then I install it and it's like, oh wow. Combines your inventory and hotkeys in one window. Nice. That might take a little rearranging of the stream to kind of make it cohesive. Yeah, you can always see your inventory. Yeah, I'm looking at it here. I see what you're talking about. It's all right there. Looks like there's quite a lot of information on there. Come on, dagger. Only have one complaint. What's the critique? We need to drop a buff on low ban here. You know what'd be good is if they combined end parse into that as well. So you had just a one-stop shop. The buff window has a really large hidden window you can't click through. Interesting. Yeah, low ban has sped this up considerably. If you guys remember when I was out here before I got the new pet, I was medding a lot between poles. 2 inches, that's actually quite a bit of dead space. It's annoying until you get used to it, yeah. Because you're trying to click in that area and the game's not registering. It's kind of like end parse, it's the same thing. You click in it and then it's a dead spot. In dungeons, looking around corners, yeah. Trying to think where I should go next. It's most likely going to be down near. Some of the lower mobs in down there may start to kind of green out for me, but at level 34 we get a root, so I can do some charming if I want to. Pearl ring. That's probably worth some money. That's worth more than this Tesseran's grimoire. Tapioca pudding, good or bad? I would say neither good nor bad, but not for me. Looking at this adherent, and I'm trying to figure out if he has a dagger. I don't see anything on him. Yeah, okay. I think okay is a good adjective. Kalahari, welcome back to the stream. All pudding bad. Dang, no pudding for Kalahari. You know, I was talking about pudding with my girlfriend the other day. When I was a kid, my mom almost always had a bowl of Jello pudding in the fridge, and I have not made pudding, yeah, or Jello. And I have not made pudding like the entirety of my adult life. I don't think I can remember a single time where I went and got a box of pudding. I do like banana pudding, and I'm actually surprised that Kalari doesn't like banana pudding because she is a southerner. You know, the banana pudding with the vanilla wafers in it and the whipped cream. You make it, but you don't eat it, and you think it's bad. Let's see. We really don't have anything to pull here. Skyless Raven doesn't like sweets very much, but tapioca is the best tasting. So I used to drink a lot, you guys know that, and then when I quit, and I never used to eat sweets. It wasn't, I was more of a savory type person. I liked salty foods. Like I would drink and eat pizza or French fries all day long. And then when I quit drinking, man, my sweet tooth came out and there's a candy. It's the Nerds gummies. So it's essentially like a little gummy bear type thing. Not really a gummy bear, but it's a gummy and it's got Nerds stuck to it. And oh my goodness, I could wreck those Nerd gummies. Like an entire bag of them is like 800 calories and I can just smash it. Nerd beholders. Are they like nerd floating eyeballs that petrify you? Salt fanatic here can eat a whole bag of beef jerky. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I love French fries. I love anything really salty. I don't really like saltine crackers all that much or like Ritz crackers. I'll eat them. A gummy ball with nerds stuck to it. That reminds me of, that does sound good. Do you guys remember the candy called Wonder Ball from the 90s? It had the really catchy cartoon, or not cartoon, commercial. The What's in a Wonder Ball commercial. It had like nerds in it. It was like a chocolate ball that was like this big. It was like the size of a baseball. And then it was filled with like nerds. And they were so good. I wonder if you can buy them now. Or are they all like you can buy them, but you're not gonna want to eat it because it was made in like 1999. Uh, I can spend $41 on Amazon for a 10 pack of Wonder Balls, but it's the only one like it. So you can see there's nothing else like listed as a Wonder Ball. And so what I'm worried is like I don't know. I don't know if I trust it. Sweet tarts sometimes. Yeah, it could have had different candies. I just remember one was like nerds. Your nephew had one of the Mario ones? It comes with a golden coin. I have to get it now. Honestly, the commercial sold the damn candy. That commercial, like the commercial was so catchy. Shock tarts. I don't know if I had those. Shock tarts. Yeah, the Wonder Ball candy was so good when I was a kid. I remember going to collect candy on Halloween, eat one piece, and never touch it again. And my mother would get so mad because I was wasting the candy. Why wouldn't she just eat the candy herself? Then again, we've kind of talked about she seems like not the most logical of people. Sweet Tart's evil cousin. Yeah, I wonder what's in a Wonder Ball. We're over here reminiscing about the 90s, and Loban here is just getting rocked by this Sarnak. That was back when pop punk was everywhere. Like every commercial had pop punk. Remember like the Dollar Loan Center? Did you guys have Dollar Loan Center? They had a pop punk Dollar Loan Center commercial. I'm wondering if this dagger is so small I won't be able to tell if anything has it until it's very close to me. Music from the 90s is on oldies stations now. I just that just hurts. Yeah, Blink 182 is now an oldies. They're now like adult contemporary or adult, like adult oldies. Uh-oh. Wow, we got really lucky that that other recruit didn't pull. That was close. You're welcome. I do not thank you for that. Yeah, pop punk was huge. Sum 41, Blink 182, Third Eye Blind. Third Eye Blind was kind of they were unique in that they were like sort of alternative, sort of punk. The funny thing about Third Eye Blind was that two funny things about Third Eye Blind. That one song that made them so famous, Semi Charmed Life, was actually about crystal meth. And I didn't know that when I was like fifth grade, like 12, 11, 12-year-old kid. I mean, this song's playing on the radio, and I'm like, it's got this like really catchy kind of doo-woppy intro, do 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 do, and it sounds so innocent. I want something else to get me through this. And then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, my goodness, like the lyrics in that song are pretty graphic. The dude's talking about taking bumps of crystal meth and like being a degenerate. Third Eye Blind was good. But the other funny thing about that song is Stephen Jenkins, the lead singer for Third Eye Blind, potentially stole that song from his roommate. Like, there's an allegation out there that a majority of the lyrics and the music for that song are actually stolen from another person. Not worse than Pumped Up Kicks. No, yeah, that song. That song's permanently banned on the radio now. I like a more. Yeah, I still listen to Third Eye Blind. Their songs were really mature. Um, you didn't really expect it, and they actually like for a pop band or an alternative band. Their songs were really introspective. It was a little bit of a mind f. Like how they ban those songs, yet they play. Yeah, I don't even want to get started on Cardi B. I really like. I'm just gonna leave it. Low band needs an intensified death. The macaroni in a pot. I don't know. I've only listened to that song in little bits and pieces. Third Eye Blind was your staple Halo 2 playlist. How did you have it like loaded to your Xbox? How did you listen to Third Eye Blind while you were playing Halo 2? Or did you just have it on like a CD player outside, not on your headphone or whatever? I guess nobody had really headphones back then. Remember you had the Xbox Live like little dinky one microphone earpiece thing? On my PC speaker with speakers from Windows ME. Oh, I just listened to it on the worst version of Windows ever made. Windows ME was such a like glorious flop. I feel like I'm really pushing the limits of my ability to manage my inventory here. When day breaks, when the dawn comes, we are gonna return to the windmill and we'll vendor. Stained. Vista was pretty bad, but I think Emmy was like the low point. Breaking Benjamin, System of a Down, Rise Against. I do like Rise Against. Even now I listen to them when I'm running. You had Vista and Emmy was worse. Yeah, Vista was not the best, but And I actually never had Emmy, so everything I know about Emmy is just secondhand, but I've heard that it was just abysmal. Your dad bought it off a TV infomercial. That's funny. Infomercials, those have kind of gone away. Do you remember at some point during the night, um, you'd be watching TV and then all of a sudden it was like, boom, infomercial, and you'd watch it for a little while thinking it was gonna like go back to regular TV, and you'd watch for like 15 minutes and you'd be like, what the hell's going on? Why is there no more TV? And why are they so aggressively marketing this stupid kitchen appliance no one actually needs? 4 hours of infomercials, yeah. Still, if I had to pick one set of commercials from the 90s that have had a lasting impact on me, it's the CD commercials, exactly. Um, my favorite one was it was the hair metal compilation, but it was like the hair metal love song compilation, if that makes sense. Oh no, I'm blinded. It was what was it called? Monster Ballads? I think it was Monster Ballads. And it had like all of the cheesy love songs that were done by the hair metal bands. That was my favorite commercial because the guy's like, they taught you how to rock. They taught you how to live. Now they teach you how to love. And I was like, what? For only 4 easy payments of $20, you can get this 8 CD compilation. Yeah, it was always a big compilation too, wasn't it? It was never just like for the infomercials at least. Oh, I remember one. It was Anne Martin was always on there. The Canadian singer-songwriter Anne Martin. She always had the infomercial CD collection. They still have those ads on Me TV. What is I don't know what Me TV is. The cheesy rock love songs always had Meatloaf. I actually saw Meatloaf in concert before he passed. I saw him in concert like 20 some years ago now. I still remember there was this old lady who had to be wasted at cheesy meatloaf. Nice. I see what you did there. Meatloaf with cheese stuffed in the middle is probably my top five. Like, if I had to choose a final meal because I was like a prisoner that was going to be executed at dawn, meatloaf with cheese and spinach would definitely be part of that. Yeah, anything for love or let me sleep on it. The crowd went nuts during that "Let Me Sleep on It" song. Rip the loaf, yeah, Bat Out of Hell. I liked Meatloaf. I still like Meatloaf. I think his music's pretty good. He was a talented performer. He was a talented artist. I have nothing bad to say about him. And he was in a movie. What movie was Meatloaf in? He was the dad in a movie. I just can't remember which one. If anybody knows, let me know. Speaking of musicians who are in movies, Google knows. Yeah, well, of course, Kalari. I'm fighting a Sarnak here. Okay, I can't be Googling. Loban would die. And he'd lose his sweet Cloud Strife Buster Sword. Let's see. What movie was Meatloaf in? Apparently he was in a lot of movies. Dang, Meatloaf died last year. I knew it was not that long ago. I think he was in a movie in the 90s. That's what I'm thinking of. He was in Glee. He was in House. Meatloaf was in Fight Club? He was Bob in Fight Club. I had no idea. Did you guys know that? I had no idea that Meatloaf was Bob in Fight Club. Robert Paulson. His name was Robert Paulson. He was in Wayne's World. There's a specific movie I'm thinking of. I just can't remember which one it was. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank. But speaking of musicians in movies, I like Dwight Yoakam in the movie with Billy Bob Thornton, Sling Blade. I love the movie Sling Blade. I'm such a like quirky kind of media consumer that I really only like media that's quirky and weird, if that makes sense. Like I don't really like Marvel movies. I don't really go watch like the standard stuff. I think it's entertaining. I don't trash on people for liking that stuff. It is entertaining. It is neat. But I like my movies weird. Sling Blade, never heard of it. Highly recommend. It's all about a mentally handicapped, mentally challenged. I don't know what the right word is. Sorry, YouTube, if I use the wrong word. I'm not trying to be disparaging. It's about a person with an mental disability who is in a asylum and gets let out after so many years because he killed his parents. Anyone who calls themselves quirky isn't. I disagree. I think you of all people should know I'm quirky. Um, and he's like a southern type dude. My goodness, I cannot. The dawn cannot come soon enough. We actually need some of these words. And he's kind of like the way he talks is what makes it. He's like, I reckon you're not fond of that. That's like how Billy Bob talks through the whole movie, and it makes the movie. I was kind of over superhero movies after the first Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Kalari. I watched like the first X-Men and Spider-Man, and then it was like that's it, right? And I went and watched Thor, whatever the newest Thor was last year, and like I think it's a good movie, but they just don't. I have a hard time getting excited about that stuff, like and invested in it. I was watching Requiem for a Dream clips earlier. Those are the kind of movies I like. I like stuff that's kind of messed up and weird. Not like over the top weird though. Not like weird for weird's sake, if that makes sense. Like I like the movie Trainspotting. That's one of my all-time favorites. I like movies that when you finish watching them, they have you thinking a lot, but they also make you feel like they put like a dark stain on your soul. I might or might not admit to watching Thor for Hemsworth. Me too. Me too, girl. We know why everybody's watching that. Did watch an episode of Shameless. And Am Kevin says one of the Avengers is okay. The first Thor was decent. The Dark Knight trilogy, I will say the that Batman movie with Bane, that kind of gets down that like makes you feel a little off. Um that has that kind of dark feel to it. And it's a superhero movie, but it's not like Thor or the Avengers or what's the one with the raccoon? The space guys that go around, I don't know. Space stuff. That was probably the worst one in the trilogy. That's funny. I liked it. I thought it was I just liked the way that guy talked. Oh ho! I just think it's funny how he like talks to Batman. The second one, oh yeah, Heath Ledger, dude. That is an actor that I have so much respect for. I liked Heath Ledger a lot. Knight's Tale, even though Knight's Tale is one of those like cheesy pop culture movies, it was just an all around good movie. You know, it didn't take itself too seriously. It was funny. It had a compelling story. And then yeah, Heath Ledger is just so good. And then he was great as the Joker. Yeah, he committed so much to the role. Well, there was a movie that he was in that not a lot of people really know about or watch, and it's called Lords of Dogtown. It was all about the skateboarding kind of craze when it first happened in California. And I really liked Lords of Dogtown too. That was a good one as well. We are at 80% to level 32. The actor who played Harvey Dent told a cool story about working with Heath, but it's also sad. When you said that name, it reminded me of a game called DC Universe Online. Did you guys ever play DC Universe Online? I played it for about a month back in PS3 days. I got it for the PS3 before the PS4 was even out. And it's actually, and then I played it again on my Switch a couple years ago. And it's actually pretty fun from like a gameplay standpoint, but I've heard that it's so like monetized and like crazy cash shop antics that I don't know if it would be worth committing time to it. But as far as the actual like combat and gameplay, I really enjoyed it. But I only played it casually, and I never got to a point where I was like trying to do anything in the end game. Skyless Raven apparently that evoked a visceral response from him. It's hard for me to invest time in a game that I feel like when you start seeing the signs that it's going to try to bilk you for everything you have, like that's the time where I stop. Like I don't even go far enough down the road because eventually the game gets its hooks in you, and then next thing you know you're spending half your paycheck on like gems or DC points or whatever points the game has. And they always do it in a way where it's like to get this thing you need $30 worth of coins, but we only sell coins in 25 and $50 increments. So then you're like, "Oh shoot, I need the thing. I guess I got to spend $50 on coins." And then they know they've got like little $5 and $10 things that you're gonna then go spend the rest of those coins on. They're such shysters. Yeah, Daybreak does own that game. Daybreak owns that, EQ, EQ2, PlanetSide 2, and I'm probably missing. There may be another one. Cash shops have just kind of ruined this genre. It's really kind of sad. Whatever happened to the good old pay your sub and be done with it? That's what you get. You pay a sub, you log into the game, and that's what you get. You don't get any more advantages. I don't know. They figured out like not everybody might pay for the level 100 boost. Not everybody might pay for the cape that lets you teleport back to the starter city, but some people will. Yeah, whatever happened to pay to own games? Investors expecting exponent. Yeah, that's the answer. It is the steady decline of consumer. The consumer is really not considered anymore in today's business world. What are we gonna get? This is only worth like 4 gold. Oh my. What are we gonna get rid of? Do we ditch the ground pies? We'll ditch the water. We have plenty of water. Like, eat the dirt pie. Let me see. I don't think, every time I've clicked on it, I don't know, maybe it's not clickable from the, there we go. Yeah, eat them. Oh, you could not possibly eat any more. You would explode. My guy just housed like 5 pies. Even single player games, yep. You're absolutely right. Even single player games have some sort of form. It all goes back to that damn horse armor. If you bought the horse armor, you are responsible. I remember seeing that. That was like, I remember being like, I was there, hashtag I was there, whenever I got on Oblivion, and I was like, huh, that's weird, horse armor? Like, I was like, this is a single player game. Why is it asking for money? I already bought this game. What's going on? But we just had no idea what we were in for. We had no idea what direction the whole thing was gonna go. Oblivion ruined everything. I love that game. I'm an Oblivion denier. I don't hate Oblivion, but I don't like it. I don't think it was that good. I'm a Morrowind fanboy through and through. I'm a Morrowind hipster. I want a game that you can break within the first 30 minutes, fly around and throw fireballs at everything. I want to be able to craft a ring that, like, as soon as I activate it, simultaneously causes everything around me to explode while fully healing me, making me fly and run at super speed. What about Skyrim? I like Skyrim, but I don't think it's like the be all end all. I think at that point, like games that kind of started to leave me behind. I enjoyed it though. Uh, the only release of Skyrim that I've actually invested any amount of time into was the Xbox 360 like original version. Like Skyrim, the least of those. I go, let's see, here's my Elder Scrolls tier list. Number 1, Morrowind. Number 2 is tough. Give me a second. Like if I was on a desert island, which one would I want to have more? Number 2 would be Skyrim, then Daggerfall, then Oblivion, then Arena, because Arena is just kind of weird. It was an idea, not really a well executed idea. It got them there, but it needed some seasoning. Oblivion, then Morrowind, then Skyrim. I think the thing I can't get past, and I could probably mod it out of the game on Oblivion, is the fact that enemies level with you. And I agree with Kalari. I don't pre-order games either. I don't do that. Too many games come like in a broken state day one. There's no point in paying money for that. Yeah, I agree with Skyless too. It should add to the game, not complete the game. Yeah, you shouldn't be like getting a DLC to finish the story. Trying to think, what DLC have I bought and actually been like, I appreciate this DLC. Oh, Bloodborne's DLC was really good. The Old Hunters, it added to the game. It was a complete game without it. It added a ton of good weapons and some. I guess you could argue like maybe some of those weapons should have been in the original game. I can't really come up with any other games that I've bought DLC and been like, that was worth it. Usually it's like kind of frustrating that you have to buy that stuff. Like Grim Dawn is a good example. Grim Dawn is a good game, but the DLC seems to kind of complete it with the new classes. The Sarnak blood's not worth much. We'll get rid of that. What time is it? It is 3 a.m. The sun is about to come up. Cyberpunk 2077 is a gray area, like it was a complete game, but not really. Played the original Grim Dawn, got to the end and was confused. You made it further than I did. I've gotten through like the first act where you kill the jailer guy or the warden up in that prison, and then afterwards, I made it like 2 areas into the next act, and then was kind of done with it. I've gone back and tried to replay it several times and never with any success. Witcher, first 2 Dragon Ages, and Mass Effect are some of the that I consider done right. I should go back and replay the first Dragon Age. There's nothing out here to kill. Star Wars Coder, that's another one that I've like really need to play. I know it's a great game. I played it on the Xbox, the original Xbox, a way while back, like 2004, 2005. Whenever it came out, I bought that game fresh, paid full price. And I made it to the point where you were like became a Jedi and you got your lightsaber and then dropped it. I have a really bad attention span. I think that's what that boils down to. I rarely finish. I can probably count on 2 hands the number of games I've finished. It's like Super Metroid, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VI, and that's like pretty much it. Chrono Trigger, I've beaten Chrono Trigger a couple times. The original Dragon Quest, I beat that. I beat that in a waiting room while my daughter was getting like she would have to go to a doctor for she was so skinny. They were like trying to figure out why she was so skinny and like make sure she was eating enough food or whatever. So I would just sit there and play Dragon Quest. First time you play Final Fantasy VII, you got stuck in the crater. Yeah, it's easy to do, isn't it? I think I own over 4 copies of The Witcher 3. Oh, I've beaten Diablo 2 way too many times. But that's, I don't know, that doesn't really count. That game's like meant to be beaten. Most of the game is done after you beat the game. Was too weak to finish. I think that happened to me, and I think I like barely made it out. I realized like what I had done, and I'd saved down in the bottom of the crater like you, and was like, oh no, this is bad, and like barely made it out, and had to go back to a previous area to like level up, and then came back and finished it. I've beaten Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1 and 3. I guess I've beaten a handful of games. I might be kind of downplaying it a little bit. That's funny you ask. I'm actually listening to the soundtrack of the remake right now, but and I have it right in front of me, but I have not beaten it. I've only made it out of the Mako reactor and into the slums, and then I quit. I really really need to play that game. It is a good game. Skyless has got it on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Switch. You sound like me in Dark Souls 1. I had it on 360, PS3. I have it on PC. I have the remaster on PS4, Switch. I think one more. Dark Souls 1 is probably like top 5 favorite games of all time. I love that game. Was very addicted to Witcher 3, yeah. That's probably the most addicted I've been to a game in the last few years has been Diablo 2. I went so hard on Diablo 2 this year. I went so hard on Diablo 2 I physically injured myself playing it and had to stop. Stardew. Yeah, don't ask Kalari how much she's played Stardew. What class on D2? Let's see. I started out with a Blizzsork, respec to Nova, and I did all this solo self-found. So I started out with a Blizzsork, had nothing, right? I made a Hammerdin. Got him all the way up to like, he's like 96 or 9. Yeah, I think he's 96. He might be 97. Got the Enigma. Freaking got Hodo, you know, all the good rune words. Then re-rolled my Blizz. Oh, I made a freaking Infinity. Re-rolled my Blizzsork to Lightning. Made an Amazon. She's like 87 or 88. She's a spirit, not Spirazon, Javazon with the lightning. You throw one javelin and the entire screen like blows up with lightning. That's pretty cool. Favorite class is the Hammerdin, just because it's just so simple and easy. And I did play it when it first came out. Yeah, I was a youngster, but and I never got past like Nightmare. And then I went back and got it in 2004 when it was like Lord of Destruction time frame and played it then. I've pretty much played Diablo 2 throughout my entire adult and teenage life. We went nuts when it came out, modding and stuff, yeah. It's a great game. It's just an absolute great game. I love that game. Let's see, there's a recruit. I'm just gonna pull him because uh-oh. Oh no. Bane! Oof. That was close. It's actually 9 o'clock and I told my girlfriend I was gonna watch a movie with her, so once these guys leave, I'm gonna go vendor and then I gotta kill the stream. I don't know if I'm gonna stream tomorrow because I think I'm gonna edit my first impressions video of. Let's see, will he come with the Dragoon? It looks like the answer is no. I'm gonna edit my first impressions of monsters and memories video. I have to do some homework. So if I do stream tomorrow, it's probably not going to be for very long. But we'll see. I guess we can just nuke this guy down. There's really no point to keeping him alive and medding, because he'll have the dagger. Hey, the dagger! No, I'm just kidding. No dagger. Alright, this is a perfect time for me to call it. I want to thank all of you for stopping by the stream. It's kind of, well, it was like 3 hours, so good stream tonight. Made it almost to 32, no dagger, but we'll keep grinding away at it. Thanks for your viewership. Appreciate you all. Thanks for the chat. Yeah, Rip Buster Sword. Loban, he's pretty awesome looking right now. It's kind of a bummer that we're losing him. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you all either tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, Monday. It'll be 6:30 Pacific time is typically when I stream. So, yep, take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Screenshot him. That's a good idea. There we go. Let's do this. We'll go in. Yeah, screenshot your bet. He was a good boy. You will be remembered. You will not be forgotten, Loban. Okay, y'all have a good night. This is the Amamocracy, and I am out.